Now I know I'm pretty late on this one, but the internet has been mocking Mass Effect Andromeda's facial animations since before release. And rightfully so, cause they suck, and they should have been a lot better. But the craziest thing that I've observed over the past few months is the meme effect. Since we've seen footage of Andromeda's cutscenes, the internet has been making memes, GIFs, and compilations of shitty animations and bizarre facial expressions. And after finishing my first playthrough, I was thinking about making a movie filled with all the shitty glitches and awkward moments that I encountered in my playthrough.
Welcome back, Sarah.
What happened?
You were clinically dead for 22 seconds.
This is Foster Addison. She oversees colonial affairs. Where's the Pathfinder?
You're looking at her.
You're not Alec Ryder.
My father's dead. He made me his successor.
Alec is dead. Please understand.
You willing to bet my life on that?
Yep.
Fuck you.
Malfunction. I think I've been set up. Living on our wits? Keeping each other warm at night? Sign me up.
Readings won't change, Doc. Your prosthetic symptom properly. Your neuropathy-induced pain levels are consistent. Hey, I'm used to it. It's okay. No, it's not okay. You keep acting smart, you hear me? You don't have much left in terms of organ redundancy. Nah, it's fine. I don't mind. What's all this about? Follow-up scans. I keep a close eye on him. What do you mean? He's fine, just old and missing too many parts. And too stubborn for his own good. You have me just the way I am, Doc. Don't get off that table until the scan is done. Nothing you weren't expecting. We've got two rules. No guns and senior protection team. Where are you, Mom? Other way around. Outcast of the law, Dara. You got a problem with that? You can join these assholes. Pathfinder, it will be difficult to find the spy. There's no boss in the system. Yes, that's true. What was that? Nothing. I'll be on my way. Creep.
Nosebleeds. Memory loss?
No, but I feel a headache coming on.
Ha ha.
Oh, you. Eladin ain't a place for whips, but it's kicking your human ass. Yeah, ha! No thresher maws on Earth to practice on. I do okay. Architect, throw that in the mix. Now we're talking. Like kill us. That sounds fun. You're okay, Nexus. There is no other exit, Pathfinder. However, the remnant city is not without defenses, and this is its central command. Remnant defenses, of course. Use them against the chest.
Into the sand.
But like I said, people were doing this pre-release, and this controversy really blew up after the free trial. Part of this was because there really wasn't all that much to see in the trial because Mass Effect Andromeda is a game that starts off slow and ramps up as you go along. So of course, people were gonna focus on the shitty animations and the character creator because it was the most noteworthy thing in the trial. But to my surprise, the memes and all of that continued after the release of the game. This surprised me because I thought people would start talking about all the other issues with the game and somewhat but not completely forget about the animations. But that wasn't the case. More people jumped on the bandwagon, and I think this happened for a few reasons. First off, Mass Effect is a story-driven game. Of course, the gameplay is really fun, but what made the original Mass Effect trilogy so great was the story. All of the lore and the conflicts and the interaction between the characters. And when you're playing Andromeda and you're trying to get invested into the world and the story and you're trying to enjoy those character interactions, the bizarre facial expressions and the various glitches really break your immersion. and they make it harder to enjoy the story aspect of the game. Also, the character creator makes it harder to create good looking characters, which of course sucks because it's harder to get invested into your character, which of course is a pretty important thing in an RPG like this. Another reason why the memes continued is because, honestly, it became cool to hate on Andromeda's animations. And what I mean by that is that it was a very easy way to get likes on your video, or your comment on a video, or upvotes on Reddit. So the likes and the upvotes were an incentive to post these memes and GIFs and videos making fun of Andromeda's animations. And because of this incentive, I think the memes and the outrage were slightly exaggerated. People exaggerated the outrage to make their memes, GIFs, and videos more funny, because that was the best part about all of this, the comedy. And humans are suckers for comedy, even very simple comedy like these memes. But the real problem with all of this is that people start to take the memes too seriously. And that's not to say that these memes didn't highlight a serious problem with the game, because they definitely did. What I am saying though is that people had a hard time looking beyond the memes. I saw a lot of posts on Reddit and comments on YouTube where people were saying that this game is trash because of the facial animations. I mean, look at Metacritic. So many people gave this game a 0 or a 1 out of 10 simply because of the facial animations. And that's the meme effect. People were so caught up in the memes and the outrage that they based their entire opinion of this game on memes. And that's crazy, because there's so much more to this game than the memes. There's so many more problems with Mass Effect Andromeda than just the facial animations. And you know, I would argue that there are bigger problems than the facial animations. You know, it's crazy how the shitty optimization across all platforms was overlooked because of memes. I mean, on PC, my frame rate was all over the place and it just made no sense whatsoever. In combat, I'd be good at around 50 to 60 frames per second, but then when I'm just walking around my ship, I'm down to 40. And the funniest part about all of this is that I got heavy frame drops during the cutscenes and conversations when the camera zoomed in on the character's face and showed off those top-notch animations. And you know, I dropped down my settings and I even lowered the resolution and I still had the same issues. And like I said, these issues were spread across all platforms from what I could tell. And there's more. In the original trilogy, during the campaign, you could control your squad mates' powers, which was great, especially in Mass Effect 3 because you could set up combos all day. And it also gave the game a more tactical and strategic feel because you had to know when to use each power. Using throw and then have Liara follow up with a singularity wouldn't be very effective on higher difficulties. But if you did that in reverse order and had Liara put down a singularity and then followed it up with a throw, you'd create a biotic explosion, which was very fun and satisfying, but also very effective in terms of damage output. And you also had to really think about not only how to spec your character, but also your squad mates as well, since you'd be using their powers too. But of course, they took that away in Andromeda for no good reason, which sucks because even though you can still combo with your squad mates, you have no idea what they're gonna do since it's totally out of your control and it's in the AI's control, which is dumb. And that's just one example. There are more problems. Big problems, especially with the story, the conversations, the side quests, the main quests, the open world, and the romances. But for the most part, that's not what people were talking about because they were too busy talking about the memes. And you know what? There are a lot of things that Mass Effect Andromeda does well. Even though I said that there are problems with the story and the quests, there's good parts too, and the combat is pretty damn fun. This game does not deserve a 0 out of 10 or a 1 out of a 10. I think this game is a mixed bag, but you know what? I don't think a lot of the people who bombed the Metacritic reviews actually played the full game. I think a lot of them probably saw the videos and memes, or maybe even played the trial and then judged the game based off of that. Now, I'm not trying to defend EA or BioWare here. This is on them. You reap what you sow. If they don't want all this hate next time, make the animations and the character creator better. Also, this time around, the trial was very badly executed. I think that it's a great idea to give your fans a taste or a preview of what the game will be like, but the trial didn't do that. And that's because, like I said before, this game starts off pretty slow and ramps up as you go along, and the trial had you play the very beginning of the game. So basically, the trial lets you play the worst part of the game, which is obviously dumb on the part of EA and BioWare because it made their game look bad. But also, it didn't give their players much to focus on besides the animation and the character creator. And speaking of which, I really don't understand what the deal is with the character creator. I don't understand why they made it hard to make good looking characters, especially female characters. It took a little work to make a good looking male writer, but it took even more work to create a good looking female writer. And you know, it could have just been me, but I had the same issue with Dragon Age Inquisition's character creator. It wasn't super hard to make a good looking male male Inquisitor, but I did have a hard time making a good looking female. And after seeing how closely the male model for Ryder resembles his in-game counterpart, but how far off the female model is to her in-game counterpart, it's clear that for BioWare and or EA, this was a conscious decision. And it's unfortunate that they catered to a group of people that probably don't even play their games, and then they made the experience worse for the people who do, because a lot of people who play Mass Effect Andromeda want to make good looking characters, but it was harder to do so because BioWare made it difficult. But anyways, what really worries me about all of this is that I fear that BioWare and EA won't hear much of the criticism for the other parts of this game that need work, because so many people just focused on the animations because of the memes. And honestly, while it would have been great if the game shipped without all of these glitches and crappy facial animations, even if it did, Mass Effect Andromeda would still have a ton of issues. And I'm worried that they won't address those issues next time around because they didn't hear too many people complain about them this time. And you know, I think the people who are most hurt by the meme effect, besides EA and BioWare, who of course deserve it, are the gamers. Because I think a lot of people out there would have been able to look past the facial animations and actually enjoy parts of this game despite its many flaws, if they didn't get caught up in the outrage. I'm not saying that everyone would have enjoyed it though, because even for me, as someone who really loves the Mass Effect franchise, this game really disappointed me because the story and the characters are not up to par with what we've come to expect from a Mass Effect game. But thankfully, there are reviews out there who talked about more than just the animations, and I'll probably also throw my hat into the ring even though it's really late for a review. And if I could give you guys out there any advice, it would be to take what the internet has to say with a grain of salt. And you know, that includes me too. Be nuanced. Understand that things aren't so black and white. Most things are shades of gray. And also, it's important to realize that most people aren't very rational. Most people, it seems, are very irrational. And because of that, they tend to act out on emotion. So in this case, you saw a lot of people get really mad about the animations and stuff. And while that itself isn't irrational, what is irrational was the response. People rating this game a 0 out of 10 or a 1 out of 10 and totally disregarding the rest of the game because they were pissed off is irrational. But that's it for this one. And you guys remember the drill, right? Like, comment, subscribe, sacrifice your firstborn child in my name, send me nudes, etc. I'll talk to you guys later. Over, man. Out!